Good afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group, and it is Tuesday, May 5th. I would say overall, some nice continuation today from yesterday. Right up until about what I guess around 3:20, 3:30 or something like that, when we saw some profit taking, some Fed. I have up here for the theme of the day continuation until Fed speakers, but I don't know, probably anything would cause the market to kind of take some profits at the end of the day. So I think if you were looking for further gains at the end of the day, just a quick reminder that where we are in this market and so forth, that we've seen a nice rally the last 2 days. I kind of thought that this was a gift, especially how we ended the week last week. Kind of a complete reversal from the negative sentiment that was at the end of last week. And then, on these bounces and so forth, I wasn't expecting this big of a move here in the first half, 3/4 of the day. So when you see something like this, it's important to try not to chase a green tape in this market and to try to take profits and find a name or two that you think can kind of move for the day. And if you don't find it, just kind of take it for what it's worth, and then just kind of try to sit on your hands, because it's tough trying to chase a second day of a really strong tape after that. And of course, everything that we're going through in this video is for information purposes only, not giving out any advice or recommendations. But that's just the story. And again, pretty amazing how much growth is outperforming value. And if we look at some of these, I go back to these relationships probably like once or twice a week. This is large cap value over growth, so IWD as in dog over IWF. And last week we saw a little bit of a bounce. Value was outperforming energy, banks, some of the beaten up restaurants and retail outperformed, and then we're basically back and we've taken out the lows again. So just shows you again how much growth has been outperforming the last 2 days. It's pretty crazy. And then if you want it, that was large cap. If you want to look at this in terms of small cap as well, look at the look at the upside down U reversal here as well. This is IWN as in Nancy over IWO. So again, value, small cap value in the numerator, small cap growth in the denominator, and this is all the way back to the lows too. So what does this help me do basically, or signal to me? That growth has had a pretty tremendous rally the last couple days, and take some profits, and just basically what I just said. Try not to chase a green tape. Like everything was moving, and it's tough. Like if you came in today with a little bit of a lighter portfolio, it's tough to kind of chase green. So here's where we are. We are still in value for the month of May. I think more importantly has been this 1 hour chart, right? We went over this in the morning. We got into value. 4 o'clock in the morning, we saw a check back to the bottom of value right here. So here in the overnight session, we got into value, right? We made this rally basically all the way to bottom of value, and we continue to rally in yesterday's aftermarket. We came back for whatever reason at 4 o'clock in the morning, retested, and then continue to grind higher, right about till that 3 o'clock hour today, where we gave back a lot of the profits. Interesting as well why I didn't do a lot of chasing in the market today. I didn't really write a lot of commentary today. Because I sometimes I get tired of saying the same thing, but I think these days like this, they're gifts, and you just have to make sure that that you take the gift, and if you're not involved, and in your trading account and had a lower balance of names, or higher cash balance, like I said, you're basically trying to find the ones that are moving for the day. But here's what I said during the day was just that breadth was kind of fading. The strongest I saw the breadth was today was in the first couple hours, and then it just kind of faded the rest of the day. And I said this around 1 o'clock a little bit too, and I said, so market breadth is kind of continuing to fade a little bit. And it just continued to go in, and if we look at some of these sectors, and also bonds caught a little bit of a bid. You could see they increased from the open. IWM was the star performer again at the open, but that one gave back the most gains. Energy names really gave back. If you look at the bottom of my screen, you can see that energy finished down on the day, so pretty big reversal. These things opened up like up positive four, around 4%. Same thing with the regional banks. They were up. They started the day 2%. So usually that means to me that when some of these things reverse like this, that the bounce is kind of getting a little bit long in the tooth, even though it's short. So and then I got a lot of questions about we got a lot of names that are reporting earnings. There's going to be a couple names that are going to do something like this. ATVI very very strong. But it's tough. There's a lot of soft. I mean, look at what HGBI is doing. It's up to 71. Really nice there. And I think there's a lot of short covering in some of the software names. There's going to be a lot of software names that report the next 2 days. I mean, this group has been absolutely on fire, right? We saw ServiceNow finished up another 4.5%, so tacked on another 4.5%. I mean, this group at this point really, really nice. Coupa Software is another one. 52-week highs. Team. Once the whole group moves like this, I try to sell into this strength. My thoughts for like let's say Shopify for tomorrow. So I'll tell you what I did because I own Shopify in the Tribeca Trade Group tactical portfolio, which is a cash portfolio, and I took profits in this thing. I had a weight of about 2-3% in our portfolio. We've got a portfolio of 30 names, and I took this thing down to a 0.5%. I still want it in the portfolio, but if you're not taking gains on a run like this, where it's at 686. Could it beat earnings and go further to the upside? It could. Anything's possible. But you always have to think about trading in terms of risk to reward. What's the probability that this thing is, is going to continue to go higher? Now, remember it did this the last time after a very nice run. This was more of a grind higher. And then it made this final push and then on earnings, and you got a big red reversal bar, and then it went basically from 550 all the way down to 300. Came back and retested, made a lower high, and then out. So, it's one of those things, right? In trading, it's controlling your greed and knowing where the best risk to reward setup is. I like to cover this one because it hasn't reported yet. Right, so I like to give you my thoughts on something that hasn't. Right, there's so many people who do these videos, and they like to say, all after the fact. Right, I like to give you my opinion on something that hasn't occurred yet. I think, in my opinion, that's where the value is. There's a bunch of guys. I don't want to name their names, but it's basically they're just going to tell you what happened, rather than what they traded and so forth. So speaking of trades, this is what I traded for the day. And I did have some names that I peeled off. The VRTX. I think this VRTX went up to 272. Sometimes I do this. Sometimes I cut a winner. Now remember, I owned stock and options, and I took off the options yesterday. But I mean, this is crazy how fast this this move was, right to the top of value, which is 272. So that was my ultimate target. I was just happy, to get. I was trying to get it at 270, and I just took the whole piece of the stock off at this. Also, TNDM also continue to move higher. So I did take off the majority of my position today. Again, just a monster move. The last 2 days. Remember, VRTX, by the way, was very strong on Friday in a week tape. Not very strong, but it was strong in a week tape. But again, I think software, tech, internet names, as well as biotech, healthcare names, really strong. We talked about Abbott made a nice turn. This one I think could have some more juice to it. Just basically made that turn on the 20-day moving average. So really nice. That was the one setup that I had mentioned. Where's our Market Webs channel? I actually put this one out last night. Lily was another one that I had my eye on for today. That should be FFIV, not FFIB. There we go. Chipotle, I don't think did anything today. That was also a name on my watch list. But here's the setup in Abbott that we talked about this morning. I posted these last night. So again, there was some trading opportunities for the day. Again, here's what I did, my blotter for the day. I did play a couple names for earnings as well. I got out of this NEE. So again, some nice names, and then when everything's green like this, sometimes I get out of a loser or two. I got out of JD. I got out of a name that's going to report earnings. This was my ad price. I think I originally got into this for 358. AUPH. I was also trying to day trade AMD a little bit, and probably got. I mean, I didn't. This name wasn't moving that much on the day, but I basically had to sell that back at my cost price. ENPH was one name that has done fairly well on earnings. We're gonna. By the way, speaking of earnings, we're gonna get another big day of earnings tomorrow. Like Wednesday was the big day last week too. Wednesday and Thursday. This one's so what I did was I sold a put spread, right, which is a bullish trade. And so as long as this thing's above 45, now it doesn't. There's no weeklies in this one, so it has to stay above 45. Enphase Energy, but it's really a solar name. And then I think the winner. I have a big position in this one. Melly, I'm just kidding. I don't own anything in this. Look at this thing, 628 to 724. Just amazing price action, and we are seeing this, and again, last couple days, pure momentum. We'll see if that changes. Again, I'm actually at this point I'm welcoming a little bit. I mean, this was the end of day move. This again started right around 315, I guess, and there was not much of a fight back, and we basically came all the way back to where we opened. We actually finished under where we opened for the day. Pretty interesting. That again, grind for the most part of the day, and then sell off. So again, like I said, I'm actually at this point, I wouldn't mind a little bit of weakness on the tape. I think the growth names have really run the last 2 days. So that's just the name of the game, right? When everybody's getting, I mean, again, these growth names, I could throw up another 20 of these charts. Where did my friend Sam finish for the day? This is another one. I actually moved this one. Like I said, I had to take some profits in some of the names that are reporting earnings. Like ATVI, I had to take out of. No, I didn't take out of the portfolio, but I just put the weight back down. But I actually decided I love Boston beer, so I put it in as a small weight into the portfolio. But all in all, real nice performance there, and that again is in the tactical Tribeca portfolio. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Another nice day today, and have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.